Yeah, Jerry Kitt, that's my name. First Nature Farms is our farm. I started my life out in the city of Edmonton a long, long time ago, and moved out to the country just merely by accident. I was just hitchhiking and discovered a place that I just fell in love with and ended up staying. And so am I local? That's a good question. We see Edmonton in the middle of the map there. You kind of go to the west, northwest, and you see Grand Cache, Valley View, Grand Prairie. See Grand Prairie there? I live 1 hour west of Grand Prairie, right along that Alberta-BC border. So it's a fair drive, and it's a pretty remote area. So here's the road, just taken a few days ago, looking west. And so at the end of that road there, you can see the horizon. Those are that's where British Columbia starts. But the really interesting thing is we are so remote that if you wanted to find the next farm west of us, you would have to keep going, and you would find the next farm in Russia. That's right, yeah. So you go through the wilderness of BC, so it's a long trip. Don't start the journey without letting me know. That Ferris wheel is a whole other story. So, yeah, we're a small operation. We have this little log house we built there back in the mid-'80s. And presently I live there. My daughter lives there. We also have a lot of interns and woofers and people who come to volunteer their time to come and learn about what we do. And what we do is we raise livestock. We raise chickens, turkeys, pigs, cows, and bison, but we do everything organically, and we've been doing this organically for 27 years. Yeah, so this is our neighbor's place. This is a local colony. So this is a little bit different than our farm. You see it says do not enter, biosecurity in effect. Of course, we do have a lot of respect for biosecurity, but our big thing we're into is biodiversity. And so this is just outside our house, and you could see our lettuce coming up.
Looking good.
That's why we're also customers. Yeah. And so it's not a big money operation, and that's one of the things that I think is kind of cool about what we're doing, is that we're trying to show other people who want to get started farming, saying, you know, you don't need the $1 million to get started. You know, if you work things right, you know, you could buy a $700 tractor and a $1,500 mix mill, and, you know, buy your grains from your organic neighbors and you know, make a start that way. And so, and the other thing about that is that not only are we learning how to raise animals, but we're also learning how to fix machines. And we do a lot of that too. So let's just have a look at what we're doing. So here's turkeys. This year, or last year, we raised these domestic turkeys, and also the Merriam's wild turkeys that were all hit at Christmas time. These pens here, we designed them ourselves, built them on the farm 26 years ago. Each one is 1/10 of an acre, 46 feet wide, 96 feet long, and they're all mobile. And so in the months that I could move them, every few days they move on to fresh pasture, which the birds absolutely love, and all of the nutrients get left behind. And when I'm organized, I can move a pen like that with all the birds in it, the water system, the feed system, the shelters, the roosts, everything, in under 4 minutes. Yeah. I used to have 17 of those, but I was shut down by the Turkey Marketing Association. So, yeah. And so I love raising these birds. People say turkeys are really dumb, and whoever believes that is not too bright themselves, because I think turkeys are really intelligent birds. I have a lot of respect for them. This is my guard donkey. Joe is his name. He's about 27 years old. He's done such a good job of being a guard donkey that we haven't had any predator problems in years and years. And now he's retired. He lives over by our house. and all the coyotes in the area still say, stay away, keep those turkeys and chickens alive by themselves, and we won't bother them. And it's an amazing thing. If ever you want to learn about predators and raising poultry, then I know a lot of people have problems. We don't. Chickens. It's a good time of year when the little chicks arrive. Of course, the neighbor kids, they like to come over and help to unload the chickens from the boxes. And again, we raise them out on pasture in those big structures and move them along. This year we're going to be going to some new breeds of chickens because these ones here are getting just a little bit too specialized for indoor production, and we're looking at breeds that actually can really enjoy spending their time outside. So that's coming up. We also have a bunch of hens that we raise for egg production, and we're just getting started with that too. Cattle. We have this breed of Galilee cattle as from Scotland, supposedly one of the oldest breeds of cattle around. They're really good at producing fat just off of grass and not with the addition of grain. So the other cool thing about them is because they have that white belt on them, and because we live in cattle country, we don't have to brand our cattle because everyone knows that these are our cattle, and anyone else that's a real cowboy would be embarrassed to have something like that. So we also raise bison. We've done this since 1992, ever since I visited that head smashed in buffalo jump. I was just so impressed with that and with the animals themselves that they've been around for a long time. And everything we do is grass-based. All of our bison, all of our cattle is only raised on pasture. We don't give them any grain at all, other than when we're trying to teach them to come when they're called. And then we give them little treats. Pigs, and most of our income comes from raising pigs. And kind of interesting. A lot of pig operations rely on indoor production, rely on gestation crates and farrowing crates and stuff like that. We're totally different. We rely totally on maternal instincts, and we try to breed pigs that have strong maternal instincts. These guys, they live outside. They have their babies outside. They know how to build nests. They know how to take care of their little pigs. It's something that it's a trait that's very, very quickly disappearing, but I feel is very important. See, this one obviously was a very successful mother, but those are not all hers. And in the summertime we give them mud, and in the wintertime we give them straw. And so, like, I've always liked raising animals, and ever since I was a kid living in Edmonton, I had aquariums and gerbils and mice and all kinds of things, and so that's what I did. That's my daughter there, and so I've really enjoyed this. And but the time kind of came. Like, unfortunately, if you raise animals, you're not going to be able to make a living at it unless you're selling meat. And so for a long time, I was trying to figure out how can I make a living selling meat, and I figured the route was to go to all the high-end restaurants. And so we would sell wild turkeys. We sold to Jasper Park Lodge, to the Banff Springs Hotel, Palliser. We sold them wild turkeys. We sold them organic chickens when you could never find organic chickens. But for me, after a while, something was really missing from this, and of course I would get checks in the mail, but we were working so hard to be able to produce this, and that's really all we got were just the checks. So then took a course in holistic management and decided that what we had to really do is focus ourselves on people. What we would really like to do is to be able to feed families. And not only that, to feed people that we really believed in. So this is my son and daughter. They grew up at the farmer's market too, and And so it's all the people that I really admired and respected in the city, you know, the musicians, the environmentalists, the teachers, and those folks, and you would find them, they would come to the market, and that's where we'd meet them, and seeing that we're producing so much good nutrition, those are the families I wanted to really nourish. And so that brought us to the farmers market. So that's one of the things we do. And the other thing, here's my son, but we try to keep people in contact with what is actually happening on the farm. So we have this little whiteboard here, farm news. And so every month when I show up, I put something new on the farm news. I send it out monthly as kind of a little email thing. And I was just looking at this. I've done this for so many years, I lose track of this, but some of them are really cute. Like I like the sandhill cranes that came back, you know. It's always a special time for me. Tractor woes. How lucky I was to have a welder repair my broken axle housing. How unlucky I was to break the other side a week later. Yeah. Chicken chicks arrive. The first few weeks of their life will be spent listening to music on CKUA radio. More culture than agriculture. And so, yeah, and so it just keeps, you know, and people come by and they look at that and they relate. It's not always good stories, not always funny stories. Sometimes, you know, there's things that go wrong and there's tragedies and things as such. But a big focus of what we're trying to do now is we're trying to pass on what we've learned to other people. And there's a lot of young farmers that are interested, and we have people that come from all over the world. We participate in the WOOF program, in the farm intern program, and we've had over 300 people come to our farm, all the way from Waldorf teachers to surgeons. We've had undercover police. We've just had a huge variety, but mostly students, and now mostly people that are interested in learning about techniques of raising animals, growing crops without the input of anything external, and just doing everything with the nature that's around you. So we're trying to produce the new breed of farmers, and and we get all kinds. Now they may not necessarily be local to Edmonton, but they're going to be local somewhere, and we've influenced a few lives. Here's Roger. He came out 3 times. His interest was sports science, and so he studied that at university, but his real passion was cooking, and he just loved to be in the kitchen and cook. And after a while, Roger, who was from Switzerland, he ended up taking courses in cooking. He represented Switzerland at Terra Madre in the slow food movement, and so that was a great thing to see him. Oh, yeah, and Lucas here, he wasn't too sure what he was going to be when he showed up, but now he's a cheese maker in Switzerland. Yeah. Oh, Nina, yeah, her grandfather raised cows, and that was her dream. She was raised in a city, but she wanted to raise cows. And she's from France, and so that's what Nina's doing in France now. And yeah, here's Nadav and his buddy. They're from Israel. Nadav was a soldier, and he came out. He spent a couple of months with us. Now he's a farmer in Israel. And so we do a lot of hands-on stuff. These guys, they wanted to butcher a pig. I say, well, you know, if you want to butcher pigs, big responsibility. Oh, this guy here, yeah. Yeah, he showed up, but he wasn't too sure what he wanted to do, and he still doesn't know. But anyhow, so here we are. So I devoted my kitchen table to this. This is what these guys wanted to do. Now, just point out that the Japanese fellow was a figure skater, if you could believe it. Just an amazing figure skater. We went traveling to the lakes, and he would just do incredible stuff. Chad, the guy on the right, he ends up, he's operating a market garden outside of Winnipeg. I just got an email from him 2 days ago. He's going to add 15 pigs to his market garden. Andre Voortman ended up, he first visited us from Holland. Now he is the pork manager for the TK Ranch. And yeah, so he's been out there for years and years, and I believe is marrying into the family. So yeah, we've done a lot of things. So I try to teach them as many skills as I can. Sometimes they're good skills, and sometimes I don't have too much to teach them. But at the end of this operation here, this is what they ended up with. So, you know, but we try.
Extreme meat.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. Yeah. But you know, my kids are on the farm. My daughter, 8 years ago, her dream was to become a fashion designer in Europe, and she would have been really good at it too. But right now, she is at Olds College studying meat cutting. Quite a difference. My son, his dream was to become an environmental engineer, and that's what he did become. And but he also bought a farm right next to me, and he produces honeybees and lamb and lots of eggs.